Emma thought her life was perfect. She had a kind husband, Michael, and a best friend, Claire, who had been her sister since high school. Emma and Claire spent so much time together, laughing and sharing secrets. Michael was Emma's world. They had been married for 5 years, and Emma trusted him with all her heart. To her, everything in life seemed just right. One day, Emma noticed Claire coming over to their house more often. Sometimes she would visit when Emma wasn't home. Emma didn't think much about it at first. Claire was family to her, and Michael seemed happy to have her around. But then, Emma found a scarf in the bedroom that didn't belong to her. "It's Claire's," Michael said when Emma asked about it. "She left it here last time." Emma smiled and let it go. She thought she was imagining things. Over the next few weeks, Emma felt uneasy. Claire started avoiding her, making excuses not to meet for their usual coffee dates. Michael, too, seemed distracted. He was always on his phone and staying late at work. One night, Emma decided to surprise Michael at his office by bringing him dinner. But when she got there, his car wasn't in the parking lot. Confused, she called him. "I'm still at work," Michael said on the phone. Emma's heart sank. She didn't want to believe he was lying, but something didn't feel right. One morning, while Michael was in the shower, his phone buzzed. Emma glanced at the screen and saw a message from Claire. "I can't stop thinking about last night." Emma's hands shook. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. When Michael came out of the bathroom, she showed him the phone. "What is this, Michael?" she asked, her voice breaking. Michael froze. "It's not what you think," he said. But Emma could see the guilt in his eyes. Emma knew she had to talk to Claire. She called her and asked her to meet. Claire looked nervous when she arrived. "Tell me the truth," Emma said, holding back tears. "Are you seeing Michael?" Claire lowered her head and nodded. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered. Emma felt like her heart had been ripped apart. "You were my best friend," she said. "How could you do this to me?" Claire had no answers. Emma packed her things and left Michael. She stayed with her sister for a while, trying to figure out what to do next. Claire tried to apologize, but Emma couldn't forgive her. The pain was too much. She stopped answering Claire's messages. Emma decided to focus on herself. She joined a painting class, went on long walks, and spent time with new friends. Slowly, she started to feel like herself again. Months later, Emma saw Michael at the grocery store. He looked tired and sad. They exchanged a quick hello, but Emma didn't feel angry anymore. She had let go of the hurt. As she walked home, Emma smiled. She realized she didn't need anyone else to make her happy. She was strong, and she had a bright future ahead of her. Betrayal had hurt her, but it had also made her stronger. Emma knew she would be okay. Emma's new apartment was small but cozy. It had large windows that let in the morning sun, casting a golden glow on her new curtains. She spent her first weekend unpacking boxes, arranging books on a small shelf, and hanging up pictures of places she wanted to visit someday. Every corner of her apartment began to reflect her personality. She placed a soft blue rug near her bed, lit vanilla-scented candles in the evening, and hung fairy lights around the living room. It became her sanctuary, a space where she could breathe freely and dream of new possibilities. Her job at the bookstore was her favorite part of the day. The smell of books, the soft hum of quiet chatter, and the sound of pages turning gave her a sense of calm. Mrs. Harper, the shop owner, often made tea for the staff, and they'd sit together during lunch, sharing stories about their lives. For the first time in months, Emma felt she was starting fresh. On a crisp Saturday morning, Emma joined her hiking group for an adventure in the nearby hills. The sky was clear and the air smelled of pine trees. The group was friendly. chatting and laughing as they climbed the trail. Daniel, a tall man with kind eyes and a backpack covered in travel patches, walked beside Emma. "First time here?" he asked with a smile. Emma nodded. "Yes, I'm still getting used to the area." As they walked, Daniel pointed out interesting plants and shared little jokes about how clumsy he was with directions. Emma found herself relaxing, enjoying the easy rhythm of their conversation. At the top of the hill, the group stopped to rest. The view was breathtaking. Rolling green hills stretched out beneath a bright blue sky. Daniel handed Emma a water bottle and said, "This is my favorite part. It reminds me to slow down and appreciate life." Emma nodded, feeling a sense of connection she hadn't felt in a long time. One evening, Emma sat on her couch, wrapped in a soft blanket, when she found the letter from Claire in her mailbox. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The letter was short but heartfelt. Claire admitted she had made terrible choices and deeply regretted losing Emma's friendship. She explained that she had moved to another city to start over, hoping Emma had done the same. Emma's eyes filled with tears as she read the letter. It wasn't anger she felt, it was sadness. She thought about all the memories they had shared and how they had been ruined by betrayal. After much thought, Emma decided not to respond. She didn't want to carry the weight of resentment anymore, but she also knew she couldn't let Claire back into her life. Instead, she folded the letter, placed it in a drawer, and chose to focus on the present. Daniel became a steady presence in Emma's life. He wasn't pushy, but he always seemed to know when she needed a friend. On rainy days, they sat in the bookstore, sipping hot chocolate and talking about their dreams. Daniel shared stories about his travels, like the time he got lost in Italy and ended up joining a local family for dinner. Emma laughed until her sides hurt, feeling lighter than she had in years. One day, Daniel invited her to a pottery class. "It'll be fun," he said, grinning. Emma hesitated, but agreed. As they worked side by side, shaping clay into bowls and vases, she realized how much she enjoyed trying new things with him. Daniel's presence was like a gentle nudge, reminding her to step out of her comfort zone. As the months passed, Emma grew stronger. She found joy in the little things, watering her plants in the morning, painting in her art class, and taking evening walks in the park. One afternoon, as she and Daniel strolled through a bustling farmer's market, Emma spotted a vendor selling handmade bracelets. She picked up one with a small silver charm shaped like a leaf. "It's a symbol of growth," the vendor explained. Emma smiled and bought the bracelet. It felt like the perfect reminder of how far she had come. That evening, as she looked out of her apartment window at the city lights, Emma felt at peace, and now, with Daniel by her side, she felt ready to embrace whatever came next. Emma's days continued to blossom with quiet joy. Daniel invited her to meet his friends at a local music festival one weekend. Emma hesitated at first, but his enthusiasm was contagious. The festival was alive with energy, brightly lit stalls, the smell of food wafting through the air, and music that made her feel like dancing. Daniel introduced her to his friends, who welcomed her with warm smiles and friendly jokes. They spent the evening laughing, eating street food, and swaying to the rhythm of the music. For Emma, it felt like stepping into a world she had once thought closed to her. At the end of the night, as fireworks lit up the sky, Daniel turned to Emma. "You belong here," he said softly. Emma didn't reply immediately. Instead, she looked up at the colors in the sky, feeling like maybe, just maybe, she did. One quiet afternoon, Emma received a package in the mail. It was from her younger brother, Adam, whom she hadn't seen since she left. Inside was a photo album. As Emma flipped through the pages, Tears welled up in her eyes. There were pictures of her family laughing at picnics, celebrating birthdays, and even a photo of her and Claire from happier times. At the back of the album, Adam had written a note. "We miss you. When you're ready, come visit. Love, Adam." The letter brought a mix of emotions, love for her family, but also a pang of guilt for staying away so long. Emma decided it was time to reconnect with her family. She called Adam, and his voice on the other end of the line was like a warm embrace. "Emma, it's so good to hear from you," he said, excitement bubbling in his tone. After weeks of planning, Emma made the trip back to her hometown. The drive was filled with memories, both happy and bittersweet. When she arrived at her family's home, she was greeted with hugs and laughter. Her mom had made her favorite meal, and her dad couldn't stop telling her how proud he was of her strength. Over dinner, Emma shared stories about her new life, her job at the bookstore, her art class, and even Daniel. Adam teased her gently. "Sounds like someone has a special someone." Emma blushed but didn't deny it. Back in the city, Emma and Daniel continued to grow closer. One sunny afternoon, he took her to a hidden garden he had discovered in the middle of the city. "It's my secret spot," he said with a grin. The garden was peaceful, with blooming flowers and the soft sound of water trickling from a fountain. They sat on a bench, and Daniel looked at Emma. "You've been through so much, but you're one of the strongest people I know," he said. Emma smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in years. "I wouldn't have made it without you," she admitted. Daniel took her hand. "You didn't need me. You've always been strong, Emma. You just needed to see it for yourself." Emma's life continued to evolve. She started painting more seriously, even displaying her art at a small local gallery. She and Daniel began talking about bigger plans, traveling together, maybe even moving in. Emma no longer felt weighed down by her past. Instead, she saw it as part of her journey, a story that had led her to where she was now. One evening, as they walked home from a movie, Daniel stopped and turned to her. "Emma, life with you is better than I ever imagined. I want to keep building this with you." Tears welled in Emma's eyes, but this time they were tears of happiness. "I like that," she said, smiling. Years later, Emma would look back on this time as the moment her life truly began. She had faced heartbreak and betrayal, but she had come out the other side stronger, wiser, and more open to love. Her story wasn't perfect, but it was hers, a journey of pain, growth, and ultimately joy. As Emma sat on the balcony of her apartment, a cup of tea in hand, she watched the city lights twinkle. Life had its ups and downs, but in that moment she felt at peace, knowing she had the strength to handle whatever came next. Thank you so much for joining me on this heartfelt journey. Your support means the world to me, and I hope this story touched your heart as much as it did mine. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that inspire and connect us all. See you in the next one.